kind of set up a few things, and then John actually asked me.
Yeah, talk about it. My mom, but I didn't do that. So you're the oldest. So he's 92 and you'll be 92 next month. They're supposed to sort like
If we get too organized, I won't know you. It's a different family.
Good memory.
St. George. That's where you went. My sister. That's better.
Yeah, that's where we out of the blue. It was just such a weird deal. But a neat reunion.
Yep.
John Howard.
Doing great. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming.
Is by getting your teammates to guess. So you flip the card up on here, and you have to get your teammates to guess the word at the top without using the taboo words, which are underneath.
And you're on a time limit.
Yeah, so this will be the timer, and we'll go back and forth. So the person who tries to get their teammates to guess the word, obviously it rotates. So.
Can you like do anything to get them to guess?
You can't. Well, you know, I think we could be flexible with the rules. Maybe don't say a part of the word. Don't say it rhymes with that, that type of thing. But maybe if there's a song and you hum part of it.
Trust me, nobody would get that from me.
Oh, that will work really well.
But yeah, I don't know exactly how I should set up. Maybe if the boys sit here and then the girls are around the here.
Oh, good.
Okay, we'll play a game. We'll play the game and then take a break and eat dessert, more dessert. Okay, so how about this? I'll go first. And so I need a gentleman. Oh, since you're a good buzzer, why don't you come up and look over my shoulder, and if I use any of the taboo words or a part of a word, you just can make a buzzer.
And keep going.
So,
Now.
Oh, what? Okay, fed, oh, okay, we went to get,
You know that word.
okay, when you go to school to develop, to become.
Obedient. Veterinarian.
Doctor. If you're the opposite of. I got it. Okay, what's the wreck out in the water? And when you want to stop, you put this in the water. When I go to Spain, I want to put all my stuff in here. Knapsack. What's another word for that? Yes.
Timing is off though.
Okay, so you got intelligent luggage. Wait, you want to just go next since you're up here?
You get
I'll be the buzzer.
Yeah, you cannot be your own buzzer. It violates all.
Okay, hold on 1 second, sir.
Okay, so it's still girls against the boys. We're just not moving.
3 points for the girls.
We won.
Okay, ready? Okay, everyone listen up. Okay, ready, go.
You do something with the doctor.
Examination.
Make you look pretty.
Checkup. Facelift.
Oh!
Dang.
Inside advantage.
Yeah.
You do something to measure.
Tape.
Ruler.
Tape.
Time.
Clock.
Stopwatch.
Calendar.
That's it. Cooking.
Utensils. Stove.
Kitchen. Chef.
Stove.
Frying.
Recipe.
Fire.
Water.
Pancake.
Oh, you should.
Matter.
Go somewhere. No.
Okay.
We got one.
You got one? No, I and calendar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got two. Excellent. Great job. Okay.
Don't you have to go get some?
Okay, so maybe we'll go
You're
to.
skipping too many things.
No, I love these days.
He's getting there.
I think it's fine. So we'll say the first team to how many points? 30 wins?
Whoa.
Oh, no, that's too long. But we already have 30 points, right?
Okay, I say the first one to 2.
I'm good at this.
Yeah, with her husband there to do the buzzer, this is gonna be.
Oh, turn the timer.
Yeah. Okay, when boyfriend and girlfriend
Kiss.
and then they
Date.
and then
Engagement.
and then there's honeymoon.
Family, anniversary.
Parents.
Honeymoon, it has to be
Parents.
She said parents.
Every year is April.
He's a good buddy.
Don't distract her, Dad.
You can't say the words underlined.
Okay, there's blackberries, there's
Blueberries. Strawberries.
yeah.
Okay, go, go.
Okay, and when I'm getting ready in the morning and I'm doing my
Mascara.
and then I do my
Eyelashes.
okay. And then here is
Finish it strong.
something we walk on,
Shoes, floor.
but we don't want the dogs on it.
Carpet.
Grass. The couch.
Hardwood floor.
Practice or something.
Don't get nervous. Don't be distracted.
I am, okay, I can't say the words in black. Oh, I'm doing the next one. Oh, okay, so when can I look at it?
Humming.
You can talk. Cool, thank you. You
No, that's not it.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, wrong. But related, billiards? That's it, okay, that's it.
What?
Billiards. Swimming?
Waves,
Dolphin?
waves.
That's it, dolphin.
Be buried, Undertaker.
You can use your words.
Fam. Oh, can't say that. Yeah, I got
Climbing out of mine.
Rock climb.
What is that? I don't.
Reaching for the stars.
What are you doing?
Ideas.
Climbing a mountain.
Is this?
Climbing,
You can
ladder.
Climbing a hill. Climbing a hill. A mountain.
Runs I can't, yeah. It was ladder.
You can talk.
It says ladder twice.
Well, if somebody heard ladder, then they got it.
Time's up.
Because I can't.
You got ladder. I'll take that.
All right. So I'm the word giver.
Yes.
No, I just make up buzzers now.
Oh.
And you
Tell me when you're ready.
side, right? Not me.
Either works. Yeah.
This is what you have in a game.
Dice.
Floor.
Spinner.
You're a winner. Trying to make, can you do hands?
Yeah.
Basketball. Score.
Basketball. A basketball. What?
Goal.
Goal. Okay. This is where, in the old days, men
Silhouette.
This saves a man's life in the air.
Parachute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh. His, oh.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Right.
Slaughter.
So I flip the word up?
You don't want to see my bucket.
Okay, ready?
I like your bucket.
Pay attention. I got your bucket.
Okay. Really good to eat. Smoke it.
Salmon?
Meat, yeah. Salmon. Oh, wow. I don't know how to do this one.
Hand signals, noises, violin.
That's a good one.
For a time, music,
Can I skip one?
tempo.
Yeah.
Foreplay.
Boston's first album.
It's a name for a mangy
Dog. Mangy dog, mutt,
Rabbit.
rat, horse. Mangy dog's all I remember. Mutt?
Oh, wait. No, you got time.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mongrel.
Oh.
And then the other one, pink.
You could do like one of the pine roads.
I tried to do that.
Did it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Elizabeth.
But when you play it, you may get a lot of dollars.
Oh,
It's
gambling.
close.
Gamble,
It's a form of that.
Lottery.
Yes. Okay, so in the morning you have a coffee while
Newspaper.
Wine.
okay, so it's what a male will put on their body.
Deodorant.
Cologne.
Yeah. So let's check out the other side.
Sackcloth.
Okay, there's my favorite book. It's something runner.
Oh, no.
It's a book that was in Afghanistan.
Kite Runner.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so
Bingo.
for a little person that's not a boy, it's a
Toddler girl.
yeah, and then instead of a French.
French braid. Oh, time's out.
Oh, I'm so good at this game.
Has to see it's
Somebody else.
Yeah. No pressure, but
It's either this or else.
If you are behind the wheel of an automobile, you are
Driver.
Sorry.
Close enough.
Another word for material you would use to create a structure.
Steel.
Software. Okay. Currency. Circular currency.
Coins.
Paper.
Bitcoins.
Kind of that.
Tokens.
Specific.
Dinero.
Can't think of.
Piece of eight. Piece of eight. Quarter, nickel, penny, dime.
There we go. Nickel. All right. Triple Crown winner. It's a type of animal.
Horse.
Specific type of.
Thoroughbreds.
There you go.
Time. Oh,
Oh, you did good too. But you got many doubles, so then you got 1, 2.
Oh, wow.
Sarah is the lead by 3 points.
Is it Sarah?
Can we get a verification on that?
Guys. Let's look.
Nice, Jay.
ready?
Yeah. Got it.
Interest. Oh.
You gotta watch that.
Exclamation.
Point.
Punctuation.
General.
Punctuation.
Excitement.
What was it?
Punctuation.
Arm.
Removed frequent.
Liver, kidney.
Wisdom teeth.
Big. Currency holder.
Time's up.
No.
Close.
I believe you're up by 4.
So how many was that?
Snippets.
3.
2.
I like the way. Chance?
Okay, now what time is it?
Recap.
No? No? Okay. Got it.
Okay, Jay, the girls are up by like 6, maybe? 5, 6.
It's gonna me.
Are there?
Time to change scorekeeper. I'd like to score the next round.
I thought soccer was exciting. Okay.
Make sure you're looking at the bottom words, not saying that.
I can say that word.
No, that's what we're talking
Nope, not in church.
Let's put it on a timeout.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show
You can
you.
whisper it
So,
to me.
for this one, for instance, you would, want them to say that word without saying anything on the word. But they
Well, I
didn't
have
say
answers on the back.
that. So let me wait for that to go out. Let's do it.
And you rest.
Spring. Cold. No. Money. Rain. Purse.
Ribbon.
Christmas. Thank you.
Winner.
Cold.
Yes.
What?
That's what I said.
Prize. First place.
Let's break even.
Record. Break a record.
Fast. Think religiously here. Let's break.
Break
bread.
Break the bread.
Sorry.
Winning bread.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You can flip to the other side. Oh, wait, you already saw that.
In Star Trek, the Ons. Oh,
The what?
wow. Well, losing
Klingons?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
What? She
It's just like the other team scoring in your goal.
That's right.
You get this at the fair.
Kettle corn.
Yes.
Let's go.
You go to the blank store to booze up.
Liquor.
A blank went on in my head.
Like a light bulb.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, get her out of here.
We're hot.
An ace in Circle of Death.
Drink.
Waterfall. Yes.
Oh my God.
It's a blank stick comedy.
Flat.
You can say
This is not good.
Don't put me in a small space.
Closet.
Yes. Wow. A petty and a vanity, but a full. Not Sunday, but
Monday.
no.
Saturday. Friday.
Yes.
Time's
And
up.
little kids watch.
Hopping.
Bunnies.
Yeah.
Piano player.
Typewriter. Authors. Old authors. Used to use this.
Typewriter.
After you just eat a big meal, you usually have a lot of.
Yeah.
My father's daughter.
Flour.
Bouquet.
It's sunflowery. That's the same flower.
That's one word.
Okay. Judges.
Sunflower.
Get
Somebody said it.
Crazy on you.
Barracuda. He said Barracuda.
Awesome.
Barracuda. It's
Time.
okay, yeah.
Time clock. Watch.
I think the sunflower should count.
I did. I called it out. Sunflower. I heard you. Yeah. Can I get a witness? I'll rewrite it.
And I'm gonna just put it on the shelf and
Oh, I know.
yeah.
I want to see it kind of.
Wait, he needs to see it.
Flip it on
Oh, no,
the.
she's not gonna show it to him.
See it.
Yeah.
It's like poker.
Yeah.
No, wait, oh.
He needs people to see it.
Boy, you flip it.
Why is she holding so many cards?
Take one.
Just take one.
Then you flip it up and you put it up there. There's stuff on the other side.
But not that one, I'm not that one. Oh, you.
It's not allowed.
Okay, okay.
Flip it over.
You have to put it back down. That's not fair. But you've already thought about it.
Oh my, you can't, oh my, you
And you
can't.
can't say, so use that, you can't say any of those, actually, we already did that one.
Yeah,
you put that down.
yeah, okay.
Just don't say any of the words.
Just flip it, I think.
Oh, I cannot say these things.
None of those, but they have to guess that.
Oh.
You turn the timer on?
Man monk. Man monk.
None. Priest.
None.
Where?
Priestess.
Oh,
Oh, no. Live where?
Live cave.
Monastery. Monastery.
Okay, then flip it. Next
That is absolutely acceptable. Trial run.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, you cannot hold the timer sideways.
You don't have to cheat to win, women.
Okay, keep going.
Squirrel monkey.
Without people that give you birth.
Oh, adopted.
Foster
Adopted.
home.
No, what do you call the kid without the
Orphan.
organ?
Okay, keep going.
Oh. Place.
Good
Oh.
job. She got,
You just say everything about it.
she got two, right?
And then we have one more guy. Any guys?
Well, we go up there for one more. We could win.
Yeah, we could win.
Come on, Andrew.
Yeah, it's good up there.
You need 9 to win.
We have to use the timer this time. Thank you, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
What's this?
That's the answers are on back of that cup.
Oh, whoops, I left that there. Back for it. Is that what coffee? No, that's my coffee.
Okay.
No.
So, well, wait a minute. Is this one been used? It's right here? Okay. So I'm starting over. I'm just flipping it up. Okay. I need to get rid of this, so I need to go on.
Eight more.
You can just leave it there.
Okay. Oh my God. A lot of comedians use really dirty words and
Blue. Blue language?
No, it's, you describe them as being very vulgar.
Crass.
Pretty close.
Vulgar, crass, rude ass, vulgar.
Who said that?
Rude is
Offensive.
It's- Starts with that letter.
Obscene.
No, you were saying a certain letter, and he said, what did you say?
I don't even remember what I said. Yeah.
We'll go to the next one. Sometimes when you act crazy, they put you in a...
Straight jacket.
One more. Okay, oh, this is over in Asia. And,
Time.
Oh, beep.
No.
back to that. Okay.
All right, nice job, Nick.
Rude. You were saying something, see a bunch, and he said rude. That's going,
So close.
How many did we get?
I think we got 9. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. only one I didn't get.
Did you say prude or rude? Or prude or crude?
It was crude. Was what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
So you don't know what
I thought you said crude. I'm pretty sure I said crude.
I'm seeing double here, so I've seen 20 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, one more round. Because the girls can win. We just get two more.
First 25.
Okay.
Mom, you
Okay.
going with that too?
Yeah.
Come on,
We're
guys.
on timer now.
Sarah knows.
Here or here?
Especially when they'll just.
Yeah, more about it. Yeah, get rid of those. Or that one.
I'm gonna. I'm sleepy.
Tired.
I need to put on a
Nightgown?
robe. Up above, someone is watching me. Heaven.
Angel.
So I need to.
Plus tweeze. Tweezer.
Tweezer.
A large body that's not land.
Sea, ocean.
Wow.
She doesn't remember.
And nobody's guessing anything.
Yeah.
I feel lucky. I can't think of.
Amnesia.
So Christopher Columbus. We get it? Five.
But Anna was also very prolific with writing, and she had written a lot of poems that we did not know about. It was just her and her Lord and her mind. And so I want to read this one. She says, "Be patient, Lord, when I get blue and groan beneath the heavy load. Please grant me faith to understand that some must trod a lonely road. When failing features seems to loom ahead and everything I try to do, forgive me, Lord, my bitter tears and send a smile to see me through. I realize that worldly goods can't be transferred to mansions high, but when I long for wealth and ease, oh pardon, Lord, my wistful sigh. Should I fail to comprehend the plan that's preordained for me, when I whimper, stumble, and complain, your patience, Lord, I humbly plead." This was submitted in 1960. I have another one called Broken Pottery. And this is where it relates to me. I won't read it all, but she was out there in the red earth and wrote this in 1960, and she did compile her poems and they formed a book. I'll leave this up here for you to read. She painted a little section at a time, put it up, look at it, and evaluate it, go back, correct, add more. And when I finished this painting, there was images that I did not put in there. I put these two ladies, but I don't know if you can see this guy over here, this guy here looking up. Can you see a nose, a forehead? There's two people here. There's 8 images in there that I did not specifically put in as people. But with the contrast and there, then these people were there. In Anna's poetry about the broken pottery of 1960, I graduated in 95. The feeling, the spirit, everything is still there. I was connected to her way back when, because she loved me. She wrote in the book of poetry, she wrote a poem dedicated to me. But I didn't realize that until I did this painting. Their spirits are with us, and I've heard some here today that are unbelievable, and I think all of us have these spirits. The Jackson spirit is alive and well.
For me to say anything in 125 words or less is a little short of miraculous, but here goes. Jackie Bray has served superbly as Lake Arts Council and Eldon Arts Council presidents, as church VBS director and NOAPS board member. She works tirelessly as full-time volunteer for numerous arts and creativity initiatives. But Jackie's greater worth is that others become better for her influence. She is a consummate team player, a great role model whose integrity, talents, hard work, positive attitude, and calm wisdom cause those around her to excel. I've seen it over and over and over. Unfailingly, cheerfully, she displays a sweet, gentle spirit and a caring heart. For her busy hands, smiling face, and warm heart, Jackie truly is best friend to many people. The list steadily grows as all who know her instinctively trust and confide in her, treasure her counsel, and cherish her genuineness. So that's the end. That's what I sent in. Of course, I could say more when I was writing the letter to Sam. Okay, I edited it down to 124 words. I wanted to say so much more, centering around thoughts such that, quote, those who know her best love her best, which applies to Jackie. Just ask anyone in our family, especially children and grandchildren, and that the light which shines farthest shines brightest at home, which also applies, as does this from Proverbs 31:29. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. But I won't mention any of those things officially, since to do so would exceed the word limit. So I hope Jackie wins the award. She deserves it. But I'm convinced she often causes God to smile, which of course is a far greater honor. Thanks for sponsoring this event to showcase our great ladies of the Lake area. Project from 317, well ahead of the deadline, May 5th, 2005. Congratulations, Jackie Bray, winner, Ladies of the Lake Area Woman of the Year. Lake Arts Council past president for outstanding service and commitment to excellence, and so on like that. So this is my sweet Jackie.
Right. You spent time with her. You mind sharing a little bit?
Harold and I are the only ones present today that can remember Grandma. And she was born in 1866. And she passed away in 1943. And she married Benjamin Howard Jackson when she was 19 years old. And Grandpa was 35 years old. So I began to think about this. I wonder if that was a marriage of convenience at that time. Because he had a little 2-year-old son that needed a mom. And so Grandma and Grandpa lived in a log house out on Uncle Frank's farm, where I think the logs are still there.
Yeah.
And then they built another house where Aunt Elle and Uncle Frank lived. But Grandma had 11 children, and I got to looking at them. She must have had 2 babies all the time, all for years. She had 2 babies in diapers, no washing machine, and no paper diapers. So I wondered how she managed. So one day I asked my mother, I said, well, how did Grandma take care of all these kids? And she said, we had a younger one to see about all the time. So my mother was the middle child, so she took care of Aunt Ruth, which is the youngest one. I went to live with Grandma when I was in the 5th grade, and she was more my mother than my mother, so I didn't live with her much. And I want to describe Grandma to you a little bit. Always remember she had gray hair, and it was long, and she fixed a knot back here. She always had a long dress that came down to her ankle, and she always wore an apron around. And she could chop wood, she milked a cow, and when, I think there's a story in the Jackson manuals about she had a wreck. Well, I remember they used to have an old car. It was probably a Model A. And somebody talked her into trading it to I think it was a Chevrolet car. So Grandma decided she learned to drive. So she would get in and drive, and I'd shift the gears. She'd put her foot on the clutch, and I'd shift the gears, and away we'd go. Anyhow, I can remember she went, well, here, we'll go to Big Rock Church tomorrow, where our family was buried and where they worship. And one Sunday I went with Grandma, and I didn't know she didn't belong to that church. I got to see her baptized that Sunday. He had taken her clothes, sneaked them in the car. So then we went down to, I think, the Rock Quarry, somewhere around Barney. And she was always very hospitable. And I can remember Uncle Murray and all the family moved back from Texas, and on the back of Grandma's house was an old kitchen. And that's where they lived. It was during the Depression. I think they decided to come back to Missouri, probably more of a promised land than Texas was at that time. But anyhow, Grandma took them in, took care of them. And then my Aunt Emma came and lived after she got sick and lived with us too. And there I was. And I lived with Grandma till I was in high school. And she was always sweet. She never said a bad word about anybody. And when I think of all these children that she took care of, and what a great family that we had. I can remember Uncle Simon, that's the half-brother. We'd come from Oklahoma, and we'd have this great big family gets together. We had a round table, and they just put leaves and leaves and leaves in it. It was great to everybody. And of course, we had cousins, but there was this many children in the family. But I want to nominate Leona Jane Jackson as a great woman, great heritage that we have.
In keeping with the reunion 2018 theme, Great Women, the Generation, I'd like to nominate my mom and her mom. Sharing a bit with you all about them, and nominate them. This is Grandma Roberta Sanders, Tennessee White, born into the family, and Alice was explaining how important it is to recognize those folks too. Anyway, Grandma Roberta Sanders, Tennessee White, was born on a small Tennessee farm. She's just 7 years of age. Her mother died. This left a significant void in the lives of 5 young girls. They all pulled together at home. Grandma and one older sister mothering the younger three. This is kind of recapitulating what you were saying about the family of Grandma and how she take care of all those kids. Household and farm chores taking precedence, grade school education was interrupted. So native intelligence and innate talent were left uncultivated until circumstances improved. Grandma tried her hand at writing short stories as a young adolescent. In adulthood, she became one of the few in my close family to write a book. Excerpts from Nurse, Please Don't Lock the Door, follow in this little reunion booklet, which we'll make available for anyone who wants a copy. It has some of the poetry of Anna that Anita was talking about. But anyway, Grandma's book was Nurse, Please Don't Lock the Door. She developed an inviting interest in mental health after her mother's death. The book details how she became a psychiatric nurse. I partly owe mine during medical school to Nurse White. Anyway. She was ever a person of deep spiritual faith and had a lifelong fascination with her faith's Jewish roots. Grandma took me on my first visit to Israel in 1971. Of note, when I was born, she came from California to Columbia, Missouri to help Mom out a little bit, give her some moral support. And this is about the time Mom was diagnosed with an anxiety-provoking autoimmune condition. The doctors recommended returning to the more moderate climate of California. In case you wonder why I still live in California, it's a good climate out that way. Anyway, Dad decided to leave medical school and made the move. My mother shared her own mother's strong faith in the great physician. She regularly read aloud from the Bible in my childhood and taught both her sons how to pray at bedtime. As a result, Brother Dan and I combed the Holy Scriptures and relied on prayer all our lives. Mom also loved Israel and the Jews. She came to Jerusalem for a month during my studies and work in Israel, 73 to 74. And very patriotic woman. We know that Jackson's also pretty patriotic, men and women. So hearing that President Nixon was going to show up, Kissinger was doing his shuttle diplomacy from Cairo back and forth to Jerusalem. Anyway, Mom said, we got to put up a sign and say, welcome my president. So we had some pretty big letters on some old butcher paper. And I guess even with the Kennedy assassination, they still had a big open limousine, so here comes Nixon right about as far as we are from each other. So we held up the sign and he pointed right at her. And she later got a White House photographer to send her a copy of, I don't think it was autographed, but anyway, it was kind of cute. I would say that Mom also read not just about the Bible a lot, but the subject of health, perhaps motivated by her disturbing skin condition. Always preferring something natural for cure or prevention of complications. And pursuing her artistic side, she drew with colored pencils and painted oil in many decades. So I've included in the book, I can't show the biggest jacket, but she was a painter, and having those keepsakes is very meaningful, of course. So we have a lot of artistic genes in the family, and the gift of the muse and such like that. Besides the artistic flair, she also had handiwork. I know Aunt Rose was very good putting things together. Mom put together, showing her patriotism, she knit this American flag, which is big enough to be a bedspread, and made a copy for Dan and me, and so anyway, I could picture that. Okay, undoubtedly I owe Grandma and bring it to a close, and Mom, my devotion to three greatest priorities in life. One man's opinion. What are those priorities? God, family, and country. And both women inculcate respect for elders and insatiable curiosity about roots. And from hence, our modern community series kind of stemmed from that little bit because she taught me so much to respect the elders. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how proud I am of our two little ones who I think have shown all of their elders respect to us. Yeah.
My mom, let's see, just going with this just off the top of my head. When I was little, well, I love that she taught us to really be conscious of how we take care of our bodies. My dad was more of a spiritual guy. My mom was always very aware of kind of health foods and things, which I think has made life better and more enjoyable. She also was so dedicated with just sticking with us and emphasizing the quality of practicing music. So it wasn't that she necessarily pushed us into anything, but she wanted us to do whatever we did well. And I think most importantly, once you discover your gift, giving that back to others. And so from the age of 5, as soon as my sister and I were able to play a melody on the violin, she would take us to nursing homes. And so, yeah, my mom, she works tirelessly supporting, helping others, and always stays in the background. And really thankful for my mom.
And Harold, do you want to say anything, or what do you think? Do you feel like, speaking of your wife or your mom or anybody you want to name, one of these daughters or granddaughters, what do you think?
Well, I'll stay with you.
Wonderful.
Well, we still honor the only ones left in our generation. I remember those years that she lived with Grandma, who went to high school, and she met her husband in high school, George Shad. had a great time. My great grandparents. And my goal this coming year is to spend more time with my family, my grandchildren. And I keep in touch with them, and they keep in touch with me every week. And I have a great group of friends, and I still work. My doctor says keep working. It's good for you. He says I'm going to keep you alive. And people say, how old are you? And I tell them, 92. Are you still dry? And I said, yes, I ride every day. And it's friends are the best thing when you get my age. And we always look forward to getting together 2 or 3 times a week for a little happy hour, talk. And my photo I have here, Jackie and Ellis fixed that for me, and that's one of the best things ever happened. There's not a day passes when I wear it that someone says, I like your photo. And go in the grocery store, and people walk out, I like her polo, and I wear a Stetson most of the time when I dress up, and I do it almost every week. Or long sleeve shirts protect my arms from the sun, and my hat protects my head. The Jackson family has been great, and you don't find many people like this anymore, especially the grandchildren. So, happy to be here, and I'm happy to see Lucille. Really enjoy the rest of the day this year.
Well, I'll talk about Mom for a little bit.
All right.
I'm the oldest of 4 children, and the thing I remember about Mom was she was always sewing. The sewing machine was in the kitchen, and so she made all our clothes. And I remember one year she said to me, she goes, could you pick out something that's not yellow? Because that's my favorite color. All my dresses were yellow. And so Mom was a great seamstress, and she tried her best to teach me to sew, and I cut a hole in the thing before it was finished. But Debbie is a great seamstress. The thing I remember about Mom is she's been a lifelong learner. And when she was in her 80s, she learned how to teach ESL in their little small town to the people who came from Mexico that couldn't speak English, and how every week she would go and work with that. And so she never was too old to learn something and to impart that knowledge to somebody else. And even later in life, she learned how to quilt, and she's made all of us quilts, and the grandchildren and some of the great-grandchildren now. And because of her eyesight, she's not able to participate in that, do that so much anymore. But she's continued to live her life. She's going to be 92. She goes to church. She has people over to their house. One of the things I remember growing up was hospitality. She'd have people over for holidays or whatever, and us preparing meals, and when somebody was sick, taking food to them, and how that was just such a part of our upbringing. And that's one thing that my girls say to me they remember when they were little, and I was saying at home that we would continue that tradition of, you know, taking meals and seeing about people who were in need. And so church has been the center of our life. We pray before our meals. I don't think Mom and Dad really a lot talked to us about the Lord, but they lived it out in front of us. And so I'm just so thankful that our family has that heritage of following the Lord and serving Him. And so Mom's been a great example. I'm blessed. I'm who I am today because of her.
Well, Father's Day is tomorrow. I know we're talking about women, but I'm blessed to have my dad. Thank you, Dad, for being a great dad. So I would say that the most impactful people in my life have all been women, starting with my grandparents, and I'll just touch, or grandmothers, excuse me, down to my wife. But they were awesome women of faith. I remember how hard they worked. I remember them being people of integrity, and as I got older, you know, I was able to separate and see these character giants from my youth and my childhood. They were teachers. My grandmother on my mom's side was a school teacher, Ella. My dad's mother was a teacher. My wife has been a teacher. So I think God clearly saw that I needed a lot of learning. Set those firm boundaries, and yeah, he'll wander, but you know. So, you know, I think when you're a young man, as I said earlier, you look to the men in your life and you try to replicate what they do. You try to duplicate. You follow them around, you put their shoes on, you know, you try to shave. And hope there's not a blade in there because you have no idea what's going on. You just want to be like your dad. But the women, they influenced my life in a very different way, and I'll bring it to my wife. They help you understand what it means to care for others around you, to work hard, to be obedient, to service. And so, sorry, getting a little emotional here. I would nominate my wife, my mother, and my grandmothers for being just outstanding women of character, godly women who really were above the fray. Just awesome memories. They guide me. They create a passion in me to be the best that I can be. So, thank you.
Do you mind saying something about Aunt Lily? And I have some pleasant memories of.
I thought about it.
Yeah?
I don't know whether I can.
Well, then you don't have to. I'm not telling you what to do.
But,
Yeah.
my mom was born in 1900, so, and she lived to 94, to her 94th birthday. But in that time, then between the dots, she and Daddy were married, and he worked in Kansas City before they were married. And so I was going to bring the pistol that he carried when he was crossing the picket lines at that time, back in the 20s. But my son has it in Texas, so I was going to take a picture when I was down there, and then forgot it. But the things that she saw change in her lifetime, but they lived in Saline County after they were married and rented a farm up there. And then they moved back to Eldon, and they bought a farm not too far from where she grew up, and which is west of Eldon on Highway Y, out there about 3 miles, if you know that area. And then that's still owned by my cousin, so that was on my mom's side of the family. They immigrated from Pennsylvania, and so we had the Jacksons coming up from North Carolina, and the whites were coming from Pennsylvania and met, in Missouri. So it's kind of thing. so they were married, had moved back here, bought a farm, and Dad farmed, and he was a carpenter, and he had, Uncle Frank, the way I understand it, worked building barracks in Fort Leonard Wood, and drove back and forth every day. And when the school districts were formed, they had, Dad was asked to be on the school board when they unified. And so he was on the school board, and Mom was there all the way. She grew it, she canned it, she froze it, she killed it. All of that. So, and she sewed her clothes, she washed her clothes, she cooked, the whole thing. And then after Daddy died, then she ran the dairy farm for a year before we moved to town. But I couldn't do that in any way, now to know. Yeah, she taught me to sew, but do I? No. But all the things that she did in her life were just amazing, wonderful cook, wonderful, and raised 5 kids. And I'm the youngest, so. I didn't have all the homemade bread that she made every day and all those kinds of things, but I mean, she made everything. They didn't run to town for the grocery store and everything. So it was just amazing and how hard a woman, worked back then to walk a mile to pick strawberries or blackberries and get chiggers and all that kind of stuff. But she did that, and she didn't wake me up though. So. But she worked really, really hard. Good grief, there's no way I could do all that. So, amazing.
Amazing.
Something to say about?
Yeah, my idea for making the little crafty cards was I thought it'd be fun to start a new reunion tradition, and there's a little wooden box there, and that'll be our time capsule box. So hence the reason for putting things that you're hoping, looking forward to in the next 2 years before we meet again, hopefully. And we'll open the box up and look at them again when we have our next reunion. There are pens on the table here. If you didn't put your name on your card, if you could just do that, if you want to add any extra little last minute things. But thank you for participating in that.
Thank you, Rebecca.
It's a great idea.
Great idea. Ray Family are most kindly consenting once again host an afternoon session at their place where we'll once again have plenty to eat. So join us if you need to know how to get to their house, 39 Pin Oak, and Ellen ask one of us how to get there. And thank you all for being a part of this beautiful family constellation. Appreciate you.
Good job.
What's up? I'm gonna go in there with you. Yeah.